So, okay, bienvenidos y bienvenidas. Hoy no vamos a hacer cosas nuevas. We're not going to do new stuff today, okay? Vamos a repasar cosas. We're going to review some things. We're going to take a look at maybe illustrations of using past tense. That's my main thing. And, you know, hopefully you get some practice in doing that. And that will be it, because we'll have too many people gone to really start, you know, an honest to goodness lesson. So we'll dabble a little bit with some speaking and, you know, have you do a little bit of small group work. But I think what I would like to do for starters is to play not all of the Destinos, but some of it, so we can pause and look at, oh, look how they use past tense, if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah, good idea.
Studying? Okay. And after that, that'll be kind of a warm up to see examples, and it won't be watching 30 minutes because we're going to cut out a lot of the other stuff that, you know, doesn't really show the conversational examples right away. But I would like to take a look at some of the pictures examples, because a lot of folks didn't really get to writing that, and maybe they felt it was too hard, or maybe they just felt that they didn't have time because it was a busy week, whatever. No importa. We'll take a look at a couple of those. So that will be our plan for tonight. I am, however, going to move my stuff around on the screen so that I can play the good old video on screen number 1, which is what I have to do with YouTube. Okay, and as you noticed, this episode was largely what my husband likes to call a clip show. You know, it's a clip show. It's un repaso. It's a review, really, kind of saying, let's stand back and look at a whole bunch of things that happened as kind of a review. So we're going to use this because it will have some things that will tie back into this idea of past tense. So it is for sure useful from that point of view. So we're going to start with that. We're going to make it a nice big screen. We're going to turn on our closed caption. Ooh, will it turn on? Vamos a ver. No estoy segura. I'm not sure we're going to have closed caption. Espero que sí. Let's cut to the chase. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, wow, look at that. 2 minutes cut off immediately. Okay. Oh, and notice he right away started with.
We're not seeing it.
No, we don't see it. We don't.
Oh, you don't see it? Oh, perdón. Boo. Guy. Yeah, that share screen really would help, wouldn't it? And let's make sure, because I think the audio on this, for mysterious reasons, you know, I don't know why it is with YouTube, but some YouTubes have a really, really soft audio, and some just about make you deaf person. There's no way of telling ahead of time which one of those it's going to be till you turn it on. Oh, okay, vamos a ver. Here we go. He is going to use one of the vos verbs right away. He's going to say, ¿qué quieres? ¿Qué quieres? You would think it should be ¿qué quieres? ¿Qué quieres hacer? What do you want to do? But because he's Argentine, instead of using tú, they use vos, which is what they use instead of tú. And how you form the vos verb is really, actually, oddly enough, only in present. But there are no stem changes like you think there should be. So it drops whatever would have been a stem change, like in querer and IE, but it just tags us on the end, and they punch the end syllable. So when he says os queréis or os querés, it's not a mistake. It's him you saying, what do you want to do?
And why would she automatically understand that?
Oh, because people know what bus is. People know what bus is. They may not know how to use it. They understand it when they hear it.
Okay.
So bus should be really straightforward. When you learn about bus, like a formal site will tell you, well, bus is used in the Southern Cone, which means Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, and it is used instead of tú. It is used as the familiar you. This is just something that happened over many years. Bus used to be used in Spain, actually, long time ago. Like we're talking Columbus days, you know, Ferdinand and Isabella days. Long time ago. And a lot of the migrants who came over at that time actively used bus because it was used in Spain. And oddly enough, it just fell out of favor in Spain, but did not in parts of South America. So like, okay, the textbook thing says, hey, it's a substitute for tú. It's used mainly, you know, in its majority use in Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay. So Rio de la Plata, meaning, you know, the that little cone area. However, it is a little bit more complicated than that. There are a lot of countries that also use bus, but many times it's certain regions, like certain parts of Colombia will use bus. Some little segments in Mexico, you may hear it here or there. Other places, you'll never hear it at all. So people know what it is. They don't necessarily know how to speak it if they come from a region where they don't speak it, but they know when they hear it, oh, it's that. It's the bus thing. Some parts of Spain, it still survives here and there, hangs on by its fingernails. Okay.
Quiero que sea inolvidable.
En el episodio previo, la última noche de Raquel en Buenos Aires, ella y Arturo bailan el tango.
Is this loud enough for you guys?
Not very loud.
No, okay. Yeah, this is it's still not very loud. Vamos a ver, let's see.
Después salen al jardín y piden unos deseos a las estrellas.
Still kind of soft. Let's see if we can bump it up. See, now this should be like ear splitting. Good God, that should be ear splitting. I got to remember to change it when I get off this site or I will become deaf woman. Yeah. Okay.
Les pido a las primeras 100 estrellas que veo esta noche que podamos encontrar a Ángel en Puerto Rico.
Oh, momentito. Here you see. Oh, she's wishing on a star, right?
It's 100 stars.
100 stars.
Estrellas que veo esta noche.
And notice she said, les pido, I ask the powers that be. It's because it's wishing. To whom? I don't know. God, the gods, whoever. Les pido, but no, we do know. Because she's wishing on the stars. But she's asking them for a favor. And when you wish on something, you know, I wish I had a Tesla. Is that going to happen? Probably not. When you wish for something, okay, but you don't know, you're going to see a connection, a word que in the next half. But this word pido, this verb pido, which normally just means I ask for, like you go up and you order a hamburger, you order a drink, right? You order a beer, you order a wine. But this time she's wishing for something to happen. So when we use pedir, and then we connect it to the action we want to happen, that second action is what is going to happen, is going to become what we call subjunctive, subjuntivo. So you're going to notice that not the verb pedir, pido es normal, les pido, I ask the stars, normal. But that using that verb with a different action being done by somebody else, that triggers that second verb going into subjunctive. So you're going to see a conjugation in the subtitles that looks like it's a misprint. It looks wrong, but it is correct. It is using the opposite vowel. And using the opposite vowel in the conjugation means they're going into subjunctive.
Que podamos encontrar a Ángel.
That we may find. I'm asking the first 100 stars that I see tonight. Those are all facts. I'm asking for a favor and I see these stars. Those are facts. But what am I asking for? I am asking that we may be able to find. So that's why it's not podemos, it's podamos. Que podamos encontrar ángel, that we might find ángel, that we may find him. We don't know if we're going to find him. We're going on the big search, la búsqueda. We don't know if we're going to find him. And because we don't know if that will be able to find is really going to happen, they turn that verb podamos into what they call subjunctive. Okay.
Ángel en Puerto Rico.
Al día siguiente, Arturo lleva a Raquel a conocer unos lugares de importancia histórica y cultural.
Me has prometido un día inolvidable.
Ah, me has prometido. You have promised me an unforgettable day. Me has prometido. You have promised me.
Sí, ya vas a ver.
Ah,
El
vas a ver,
Teatro
you'll see.
Colón, la Plaza de Mayo, la Casa de Borges y el Museo de Bellas Artes. Ahora Raquel sale para San Juan y tiene que despedirse de Arturo.
And estimada señora Suarez, estimada means esteemed. That is a salutation that you use for opening a letter as we use the word dear. Dear Mr. So-and-so, dear Miss So-and-so. Estimada is dear. Dear Mrs. Suarez, she's going to write back to the little old lady who gave her Rosario's address in the New World.
Gracias por todo, Arturo. Sin ti.
No, no. Soy yo quien tiene que darte las gracias. Si no fuera por vos, no sabría nada de mi hermano.
Ah, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't know anything about my brother. And he uses a lot of subjunctive, and sabría is conditional. And you know, I would not know, no sabría. If it weren't for you, si no fuera, yeah, para ti. Okay.
No quiero que te vayas.
Oh, here's some more subjunctive. No quiero que te vayas. I don't want you to go without a little remembrance of mine. A little thing to remember me by. I don't want, and when you want somebody else to do something, or in this case, he wants that somebody else doesn't do something, because it's a negative, right? That second verb is vayas, which is from ir. It looks a little bit like voy, except with a bunch of letters, you know, vowels switched around. No quiero que te vayas, literally, I don't want that you should go. Without a little something to remember me by, is how we would say that. Sin un recuerdo mío. Okay.
Sin un recuerdo mío.
Pero Arturo, con la chaqueta y todo lo que has hecho, tengo ya muchos recuerdos tuyos.
Toma. La campera era porque te quedaba muy bien. Esto es porque sos especial para mí.
Oh, and great. He's still on the sos. Sos is the vos thing again. Esto es porque sos. Instead of sois, sos. You are. This is a substitute for eres. Okay. Any place else he would say, eres especial para mí. You are special to me. So this is his lovey-dovey gift. Well, the jacket was pretty, yeah, leather jacket. That was nice too. Yeah. Okay. So sos is just a vos verb form again. Instead of eres, it's sos.
Ay, qué linda. Es
Sí, que linda,
preciosa,
mucho,
Arturo.
mucho oro.
Gracias.
Me alegro que te gusta.
Prometo
Glad you like
llamarte
it.
de San Juan.
Debería estar triste, pero no lo estoy porque sé que te voy a ver en un par de días.
Yeah, I thought I'd be sad, but I'm not.
Y
Had
además,
good memories
cuando
of
te
you.
llame tendré noticias de Ángel.
¿Vamos que te acompaño?
No, Arturo. No me gustan las despedidas.
I don't like goodbyes. No me gustan las despedidas. I don't like goodbyes.
Comprendo. Que tengas buen viaje.
And he's using subjunctive. Well, que tengas buen viaje. May you have a good trip. He's leaving off the front half. The front half would be espero que, I hope that, or quiero que, I want that. I want that you have a good trip. I hope that you have a good trip. And they just leave off the I hope part because they know you're wishing for it again. Que tengas buen viaje, may you have a good trip. And tengas is the subjunctive. So this is really characteristic. Subjunctive begins with the yo form, and then it uses the opposite vowel. So tener is an ER verb. And so we start with the yo form, tengo. Yeah, tengo. We get rid of the on tengo. And then we use the opposite vowel for the two things. So opposite vowel is an AS ending because it's an ER verb. It uses AR endings. And
People think all these things.
yes.
but they're
So now, how should you approach this? Because you're like, I'm going to be great. I'm just going to look at those subtitles, right? And you feel great. And then you look at that and it's like, what is that tengas thing? So when you hear things like this, you should be just hearing it as tengas. Well, it must come from tener because it looks like tango, right? It looks like tango. So just think he's talking about having a good trip. And don't worry about, the grammar so much. But you may say, that is a weird verb. Well, it isn't a weird verb for them. It's just subjunctive. May you have a nice trip. But, when you hear tengas, know that, okay, it comes from tango, so it must mean have.
Are you talking about the command? Remember when we learned about commands and it was the opposite, but
Yes. And that is a good connection to make. Eres muy lista. You are very smart because subjunctive and commands build the same way.
Oh.
It's just that commands can really only be for a we, let's, or a you, be that you, a onesie you or a,
Yeah.
right, plural you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, subjunctive can go into all the forms.
Oh.
Yo form, a tu form, a nosotros form, and él form, ella form. Now, but the easy thing is the yo form in subjunctive is just like the él, ella, usted form in subjunctive. So they do the same thing. But if you hear something that sounds like, wow, I think that verb is conjugated wrong, it's either a command or it's a subjunctive. And they're built on the same thing because commands and subjunctive they're in the same kind of world, grammatically speaking. They are not indicative. Indicative is a mood, and it means something really is happening, present, really did happen, You know, any kind of past tense really did happen or really will future happen. Okay. Imperative and subjunctive mean that something, the action you're expressing with that verb isn't really happening yet. You know, you tell your husband, hey, fix something. Well, you just said that. He hasn't had time to do it yet. You don't know if he'll be successful. You don't know if he's even going to bother. Does he feel like it? Maybe not. Does he want to do it, but he doesn't have the tools? It isn't actually happening yet. You're wanting something to happen. So that's why subjunctive and commands really basically form the same way. They're in that not reality world of verb action. Okay, whereas past, it definitely happened and it's over. Present, it's definitely happening right now. But a command, go to the store. You're not there yet. You just, you know, you want it to happen, but it hasn't happened.
So is a subjunctive like a command? I mean, he's telling
Yes.
you to have a good time.
It's formed like the usted commands. And it'll sound like the negative tu command. So, you know, basically to do subjunctive, you start with a yo form of the verb in present. That's all you do. And then you swap out the opposite vowel. So tener starts with tengo, it becomes tengas. Venir starts with vengo, it comes out as vengas. Salir starts with salgo, becomes salgas. Dormir, you know, may you sleep well. You start with duermo. Oh, you got a stem change, you got to keep that. But instead of saying duermo, we drop the O and it's an IR verb, it becomes duerma. Duerma, duermas. It swaps out the opposite vowel. So when you hear something, it sounds like that's a wrong vowel. They're either using a command or subjunctive, which means that action isn't really happening. You're wanting something to happen in general, or the many reasons for using subjunctive.
Adiós, Arturo.
Adiós, no. Hasta pronto. Te olvidaste la...
Te olvidaste la cámara. You forgot. Here we go into pretérito. Te olvidaste, you forgot.
cámara de fotos.
Okay. As the kids say, yeah, lots of kissy stuff. Okay. Here we go.
I thought he was going to go to Puerto Rico. I missed something.
Well, he is, but he needs like a couple days to wrap up with his patients.
Oh, okay. So I didn't miss a big, huge thing. Okay.
Yeah. He needs a couple of prep days. Oh, no tienes la culpa de nada. It's not your fault at all. Tener la culpa is to have the blame, literally. Tener la culpa is to take the blame, saying it's your fault. And, you know, if somebody says it's not your fault, they'll use that thing of no tienes la culpa.
Yo voy a buscar a Ángel.
And really, instead of, now notice how she uses no voy a buscar or voy a. She switches between ir a. Nothing's your fault. Voy a buscar, I'm going to look for Ángel. And you know that's like hasn't happened yet, right? Voy a, going to, future. And then she's going to flip into future tense.
Ya verás que lo encuentro.
Ya verás, you will see. That's the formal future tense. Ya verás. Ya verás que lo encuentro. You'll see that I'm going to find him. Okay.
Oh.
Again, you say, oh my God, I don't know future tense, but look, you've got ver. So don't worry too much. Like from the context, you might be able to guess that because she said, I'm going to look for him, that she also means you'll see. It's got an S on the end. That means she's talking using tú, right? And
But the
it's just,
ya is that she throws ya in there means like already.
yeah, ya verás. Yeah. Ya is used with ver a lot. Ya veo. Now I see. Or ya veo. Yeah, I see it. Or ya can be translated a bunch of ways. Ya verás. Oh, you'll see already. Ya is combined with ver all the time.
Espero que sea así.
Espero que sea. I hope that it may be so. I hope that will be. I hope it will be that way. Espero que sea. Sea is an odd irregular with subjunctive. I hope that it will turn out like that it will be like that. That comes from ser.
Estimada señora Suárez, ojalá que cuando reciba esta carta,
Ojalá, hopefully when you get this letter, has she gotten the letter yet? No. Hopefully when you get this letter, and that is a reason for subjunctive, because she hasn't gotten the letter yet. And so it's not recibe, it's reciba, opposite vowel. Ojalá is a big one. Ojalá is used all the time. And whatever comes after ojalá will be that opposite vowel subjunctive thing. Because you're saying, hopefully this will occur. Well, it hasn't happened yet. You're hoping for it to happen.
se encuentre bien de salud. Mi viaje a Buenos Aires ha resultado fructífero, gracias a su bondad en ayudarme. Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes, señorita.
So now she's going into flashback
¿A nombre de
stuff.
quién?
Raquel Rodríguez.
Un momento, por favor.
Pues la dirección de la estancia me sirvió bastante. Sin embargo,
Me sirvió bastante. La dirección, that's not direction, it's an address. The address that you gave me served me well, served me pretty well, bastante. It worked out pretty well for me. Meaning it wasn't exact, but I made it work. Yeah. Me sirvió means it was useful for me. It helped me. It worked pretty well.
me da mucha pena tener que decirle que su buena amiga Rosario murió hace algunos años.
Here's a past. Murió. Su buena amiga Rosario, your good friend, Rosario died some years ago. Hace algunos años, quite a few years ago. It's ago, many years ago, because they use murió. That pretérito.
En la estancia, averigüé que la familia Iglesias ya no vivía allí.
I found out that the Iglesias family was not living there anymore. Ya no vivía allí was no longer living there. And vivía was not. She doesn't mean to say they didn't live there, that the family wasn't living there. Okay. Any longer. Ya no. Not any longer. They used to.
Buenas, moza. Para mí es un gusto conocerla. Así que usted anda buscando a la señora Rosario.
Sí. ¿Usted la conoce?
Claro que la conozco. Muy buena la doña. Lástima que se ha mudado para la capital.
¿Y usted sabe la dirección?
Vea, moza, ella vivía...
She used to live with a son. Vivía con un hijo. She was living with a son. El doctor, a doctor. He knows he was a doctor guy.
Con el hijo, el doctor.
¿El hijo es médico?
Claro, y muy buen hombre. Vivía en la calle Gorostiaga al 900, eso. Una casa blanca, muy linda casa.
¿La calle Gorostiaga?
Gorostiaga.
Número 900.
900.
Pues muchas gracias,
Por
señor.
nada.
Hasta luego.
Que le vaya bien,
Gracias.
moza.
Que le vaya bien, may it go well for you. Una casa blanca. Todas las casas son blancas.
Bueno, tampoco en el 940, ni en el 950, ni en el 960. Todos abogados y dentistas.
All lawyers and dentists. And sigamos, let's go. Here it's a command. Let's go on. Let's move on. Sigamos adelante. Let's keep moving.
Voy a preguntar en esta casa a ver si conocen a Ángel Castillo. Imagínese usted la sorpresa que tuve al encontrarme con un hijo de Rosario.
Tome asiento.
That's a command. Have a seat.
¿Quién envía?
Perdone usted.
¿Quién la envía? Who's sending you? Because, you know, he thought it was like a new patient coming in.
Mi nombre es Raquel Rodríguez. Soy abogada y vengo de Los Ángeles. Estoy buscando una persona.
Disculpe, pensé que era una paciente. Bien, ¿en qué la puedo servir?
Mire usted, mi cliente, un señor de México, me ha enviado a buscar a su primera esposa.
Me ha enviado has sent me to seek out, to look for his first wife.
Una señora llamada Rosario del Valle de Iglesias. Tengo entendido que su hijo Ángel Castillo es médico y vive o vivía en esta calle.
Okay, and so she says, I understand that the son's name is Ángel and he lives or used to live someplace around here.
Perdone que lo haya molestado, pero pensé que siendo colegas, tal vez usted podría conocerlo.
I thought that being colleagues, you know, maybe you would know him. Being colleagues, both doctors, you know, you live on the same street, maybe you know each other.
Señorita, usted está hablando de mi madre y de mi hermano.
¿Su hermano?
Sí, Ángel.
Medio hermano, half
Fue
brother.
durante esa conversación que el hijo,
Oh, it was during this conversation.
Arturo Iglesias, que así se llama, me contó que Rosario había muerto.
Me contó. He told me, me contó. Contar could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it could be all that, but contar also means to tell a story. So, me contó is like saying me dijo, he told me. Me contó is the exact same expression, just using a different verb as me dijo. Me contó que Rosario había muerto, that she had died. Not she has died recently, but she had died. And the había muerto puts that action way, 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 way far in the past.
Señorita, mis padres murieron hace años.
Murieron hace años. They died.
Died many years ago.
Many years ago. Hace años, years ago.
Lo siento mucho. Pobre don Fernando. cementerio, conseguí pruebas de la muerte de Rosario.
I got proof of Rosario's death. Pruebas would be proof. She took a picture. You have to have a picture of the plate for in the cemetery so that he knows, because she doesn't have death certificates. She doesn't have the legal ability to go get that stuff. Conseguí, I got proof. Okay, so pretérito, that's from conseguir, to get something, to actually physically get something, not to get sick, not to get angry, to get a thing, to go grab a thing. She went to get the proof.
Esta es la tumba familiar. Aquí están enterrados.
Family tomb.
¿Puedo tomar una foto para mostrársela a don Fernando?
Can I take a picture to show them Fernando?
Arturo me contó que Ángel Castillo se fue de la casa.
Se fue de la casa. He took off out of the house. Se fue. He went. Not only did he go, but se fue. He got out of there. Irse is, it only changes ir a little bit. It's like adding he went away instead of just he went. He went away from the house. He left the house. He got himself on out of there. But pretérito, he left the house. Un evento, an event. Not he was going out of the house. He hightailed it out of there.
Por una pelea que tuvo con su padrastro.
Yeah, on account of a fight. Una pelea, on account of a fight that he had with his stepdad. Padrastro es stepdad. A fight he got into.
A causa de ese doloroso episodio, Arturo perdió contacto con su hermano.
Arturo perdió contacto. He
Tried contact?
It's past. Lost.
Lost?
Oh, lost, perdido.
He lost contact. We would say he lost touch. Yeah, a lot. He was out of touch. But he lost all contact with his brother. Okay, perdió. And that's a cutting of ties. So, un evento. Okay, pretérito.
Al día siguiente, comenzamos juntos la búsqueda del paradero de Ángel.
We looked for his whereabouts. Paradero is whereabouts.
Encontré esto entre las cosas de mi madre.
Encontré. I found. Pretérito. I found this in my mom's stuff. Entre las cosas de mi madre, I found this in my mom's old stuff.
Este es Ángel a los 20 años.
Ángel at 20 years old.
Oh, esto es estupendo. Hay que hacer una copia para don Fernando.
Claro. Además nos va a servir para la búsqueda.
Yeah, nos va a servir. It will be useful to us in our search. Okay?
Es en la calle Caminito. La última vez que vi a mi hermano.
La última vez que vi. La última vez. The last time that I saw. Vi. Pretérito aquí. The last time I saw my brother. Fue aquí. Was here. Last time I saw my brother was here. Fue aquí.
Fue aquí. Sus amigos vivían por aquí.
Oh, his friends used to live around here. Vivían. They used to live. Por aquí. Por aquí is around here. Por does not indicate a destination. Por means just a vague around here kind of thing. Por aquí.
Si preguntamos en las tiendas.
Empecemos por ahí.
Empecemos. This is a let's command. Empecemos. Let's start here.
Preguntamos por Ángel Castillo.
Preguntamos, and this is preguntamos is past, not present. Not we're asking for him, but we asked about Ángel. Okay, we asked on his behalf. We're trying to figure out where he is. Preguntamos por Ángel.
En varios lugares del barrio italiano, La Boca.
And la boca means the mouth. I think it's talking about the mouth of the river. Rio de la Plata is the big river, and it's a big shipping hub, Buenos Aires. La Boca is the name of the Italian district, largely Italian district in Buenos Aires. You know, that's just the name of the kind of suburb or district that's in.
Buenos días.
Buen día.
Estoy buscando a mi hermano, con el cual perdí contacto hace muchos años.
With whom I lost touch. Perdí contacto. I lost touch.
Si es tan buen mozo como usted, a lo mejor yo lo tengo escondido.
Yeah, if he were as handsome as you, I'd have him hidden under here.
Oh,
I'd be tucking him away and hiding if he was as good looking as you, baby. Yeah. He's being cute.
We miss that.
He takes it as just a cute
Tenía
compliment.
amigos aquí en el barrio.
Oh, he had friends here in the neighborhood. Tenía amigos. He had friends. We don't know how long he had these friends. He just had friends. This is that whole thing again. If you had something, you just had it for a long time. It's imperfecto, always imperfecto, right? Because we're not specifying that you had this for a certain amount of time, but he had friends.
No.
Estamos buscando una persona que frecuentara esta zona.
Frecuentaba, used to frequent this area. Zona doesn't really mean zone, but it does talk about a place. Zona, again, is kind of used, it can be used kind of interchangeably with barrio. Instead of barrio, they may use zona, and the zona is like saying area instead of neighborhood, area. Esta zona. He frequented this area. He hung around here a lot. Frecuentar would mean to frequent, to hang around someplace. And because he used to hang around here, it's frecuentaba. It's imperfecto. He used to do this.
So Marilyn, why is that imperfecto? Wouldn't that?
He used to hang around here. Imperfecto is used to.
I know, as opposed to like preterite.
As opposed to what?
Preterite.
Oh, because he wasn't here one time. He used to live here. A lot of these descriptions are going to be used to be, used to be, used to be.
Yeah,
because he lived here for quite some time, a whole bunch of years, you know. We're not talking about he left the house and then it's done. We're talking about he used to live here. So everything that describes that is something that talks about what was going on for a long time, undefined period of time. So it has to be imperfecto. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that
See?
makes sense. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
No lo conozco.
No lo conozco, I don't know him. Lo conozco, no lo conozco, I don't know him.
Pero nadie se acordaba de Ángel.
Nobody could remember Ángel. Nadie se recordaba. You know, they were just roaming around. She's talking about a mental process. Well, nobody remembered him. It's not really an event. You know, they were thinking back, we're thinking about it. No, they didn't remember him. Nobody had a memory of him. Imperfecto. Aba.
No, no lo conozco. Bueno, gracias.
Nada.
Vamos.
El que puede saber es José.
Somebody who may know. El que puede saber, someone who can know, but we would say somebody who might know. It is possible that he knows. It's José.
¿José?
Sí, José. Él fue marinero.
Fue marinero. He was a sailor, and fue marinero means he's not really a sailor anymore. He's not off on the high seas anymore. Vive acá. He lives here, just over next door, al lado, next door. Vengan, come on. There's a command. On the poor Doña Flora, who's upset about her husband.
Doña Flora, unos señores quieren ver a José.
¿A José? ¿Para qué?
Finalmente,
What do you want him for? She goes, yeah. ¿Para qué? What do you want him for? Finalmente dimos con un hombre. Dimos, we gave? No. Dar con means you stumble upon something. You meet up with somebody. Dimos con un hombre. We met up with a guy. We met a guy. It's a colloquial phrase. Okay. So you can't take it as dar and then dimos, we gave with a man. Dimos con un hombre, we ran into a guy. We ran into a man.
dimos con un hombre.
Ya hablaron con Héctor.
Hablaron, and he is using a preterite there. ¿Dónde dice hablaron?
Un hombre.
Ya hablaron con Héctor.
Ya hablaron. Here the ya means already. Ya hablaron. Did you already talk with Héctor?
No, ¿quién es?
Who's
Sí,
that?
tienen que hablar con Héctor.
You've got to talk with Héctor. He's making this an obligatory thing. Hey, you guys, he doesn't say to ustedes. It's implied because he's, back and forth. And there are two of them. So it's an ustedes thing. Tienen que hablar. You guys have to talk with them. And he doesn't bother to say to ustedes because why bother? Hey, I'm looking at you. You know I'm talking about you. Right?
Él ha vivido siempre en este barrio.
Oh, he's always lived in this neighborhood. Ha vivido siempre. Héctor, he's always lived here.
Conoce a todo el mundo.
He knows everybody. Conoce a todo el mundo. He knows the whole world. What that really means is he knows everybody. Everybody is todo el mundo, the whole world. Which I guess technically, yeah, that's everybody. Okay.
Seguro que conoció a su hermano.
Seguro que conoció. Seguro que. For sure. For sure. For sure he knew your brother. Seguro que conoció a su hermano. Or conoció, met. Here, really met. Surely he would have met your brother at some point because he's lived here forever.
¿Y dónde podemos encontrar a Héctor? Usted no tiene idea de lo difícil que nos fue conseguir la información que buscábamos.
You have no idea, she says. You have no idea how hard it was for us to get the information that we were looking for. Lo difícil, how hard it was. The difficulty of it, que nos fue seguir, that it was for us to get this information that we were looking for, que buscábamos, were looking for, hábamos. Una cantina, claro.
Señoras y señores, tengo el honor de presentarles a alguien que nos va a deleitar con sus canzonetas. Damas y caballeros, nada más y nada menos que
Héctor Condotti tiene un apellido italiano. He's got an Italian surname. Yeah, his ancestors came over from Italia. Lots and lots and lots of immigrants from town. Lots of people with German names in Argentina. Lots of German surnames. And we're not talking about World War II, really, like way before. Turn of the century, 1900s, early 1900s, 1800s. A lot of Germans came over, a lot of Italians came over. Work opportunities, kind of the same reason a lot of people came to the New World in general. But it was a real hub for German and Italian immigrants in Argentina in the last century. Que cante. Sing, sing. They all want him to sing. ¿Qué querían? What did you guys want? Oh, imperfecto. What did you want? It's a feeling, and you did want something. It can't be pretérito because it's a feeling. Okay. What were you guys wanting? ¿Qué querían?
Claro que lo recuerdo bien.
Oh, sure, I remember him really well. Claro que lo recuerdo. Clear that him I remember well. Sure, I remember him.
Era mi amigo.
Era mi amigo, not pretérito. Era mi amigo. He was my friend. Why imperfecto? Because he used to be my friend. Used to be. He was my friend is not an event. He just was my friend like a long time. Right? Anytime you say somebody was my friend, you can say I met him, and that's an event. You can also say I knew him, I used to know him. That would be imperfecto. But just he was my friend has to be imperfecto because that's who he was. And we're not pinning it to a time in the past.
¿Sabe dónde se encuentra?
Creo que
Do you know where he can be
al
found?
Caribe.
Creo que iba al Caribe. I think that he was going off to the Caribbean. If somebody was doing something, they will put ir into imperfecto. And you know what? You don't really have to know that. You know it's a past. I think that he went to the Caribbean. So don't overanalyze it. If somebody was going to do something, they put that verb ir into imperfecto. It's just what they do. But you don't really need to know that to understand what's going on because you know it's a past. I think that, creo que, he's expressing an opinion. I think that he took off, he went to the Caribbean. But that was a long time ago, many, many years ago.
¿Al Caribe?
Una vez recibí una carta de él.
Now here comes an event, pretérito. Once I got a letter from him. Recibí, I received. I got a letter from him once.
¿Y la carta?
Claro, la carta. La tengo que buscar.
La tengo que buscar. I have to look for it.
Es muy importante para mí. Sí, comprendo. Mire, usted sabe dónde encontrarme. Necesito un par de días para...
I need a couple of days. He's a busy guy. His drinking schedule is heavy. Calendar's filled. Yeah, I need a couple of days.
A buscar la carta.
Después de varios días, Héctor llamó a Arturo.
Llamó a Arturo. Here's an evento. He called. Llamó. Llamó a Arturo. He called. He called Arturo.
Para decirle que había encontrado la carta.
To tell him that he had found. Había encontrado instead of he has found. It is he had found. Had found the letter. Había encontrado la carta.
Hola, Héctor. Sí, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo le va?
Regresamos a la boca para reunirnos con Héctor.
¿Qué hubo?
Tiene la carta, pero se va a pescar.
¿A pescar?
¿Sí?
He's going fishing. He's got the letter, but he's going fishing. Fishing? Yeah. Héctor's a busy man. Okay.
Vamos a buscarlo al puerto. Vamos.
Yeah. Let's go look for him. Vamos a buscarlo. Let's look for him.
¿Seguro de qué es aquí?
Me dijo que aquí.
He told me here.
Arturo, está aquí abajo.
Héctor, me van a ahuyentar los peces.
Vamos.
You're going to scare off the fish. Going to make the fish go swim away. Yeah. Is, you know, hey, like, hey. Héctor está muy ocupado. He is really busy, yeah.
Está fechada en San Juan de Puerto Rico.
Ah, it's dated in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
No quiere volver nunca más a la Argentina.
Oh, he never wants to return to Argentina again. No quiere volver nunca más, never more. He never again wants to return to Argentina.
Señorita, ¿está bien el señor?
Is that guy okay? Yeah.
Otra vez este presentimiento.
A presentimiento is a feeling. I'm getting that feeling.
Algo me dice que Ángel ya murió.
Algo me dice, something tells me that Ángel already died. Algo me dice, something tells me that Ángel already died. Ya, already done, over with.
No, Arturo. Ángel es joven todavía.
Yeah, he's still young.
Pero uno se puede morir joven.
But one can die young. But you can die young. He's sure. He's very, very sure. You know, he's just got a bad feeling about it. And, you know, she's like, you know, oh, doctor, no diga, don't say. No diga esas cosas. Don't say those things.
Doctor, no diga esas cosas.
Sabiendo que Ángel se quedó a vivir en Puerto Rico.
Knowing that Ángel se quedó. Quedarse is to stay. Se quedó a vivir. Went to stay and live in Puerto Rico. So this, you could translate this as he settled down. He decided to settle down and live in Puerto Rico.
Y con la dirección de su casa en San Juan, hice los preparativos para salir de Buenos Aires.
Hice preparativos. I made preparations. I made plans to leave Buenos Aires.
Le estoy escribiendo esta carta desde el aeropuerto.
I'm writing this letter from the airport.
Tendría que decirle que mi estancia en Buenos Aires no ha sido nada más que trabajo. En primer lugar, he tenido la oportunidad de conocer un poco la ciudad.
I've had a chance to get to know the city a little bit. Because remember, the old lady kind of told her, hey, you know, too much work, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. In this case, makes Jill a dull girl. So, you know, she told her, hey, you know, enjoy yourself a little bit already, right? And so she's like, oh yeah, you know, I did get out and have some fun. She's reassuring her.
Pude hacer unas compras, pues como usted
pude hacer. I managed to make some purchases.
sabrá, en la Argentina hay muchos artículos de cuero muy buenos.
So she's talking about tourist stuff, you know, all the cultural things. A lot of leather is sewn. Well, a lot of leather is sold because cattle industry, yeah.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Quisiera probarme unos pantalones.
Quisiera probarme. I would like to try on. Quisiera is a super formal way of asking, I would like to do this. You're asking for permission, like in a store or a doctor's office, something like that.
A ver. ¿Qué le parecen estos?
Yeah, how do these seem to you? Oh, ¿qué le parecen? How do these seem to you? ¿Qué le parecen estos? How do these seem to you?
No. Prefiero estos pantalones blancos.
Bueno, muy bien.
También quisiera probarme una blusa. Esta está muy bien.
Bárbaro. Con los pantalones queda justo.
Bárbaro is just a way of the same, like cool. Hey, neat, cool. Yeah, bárbaro.
Y claro, también comí.
¿Necesitan algo más?
No, gracias. Los mejillones son fabulosos. Y también el arroz con calamares.
El lenguado también. Muy rico.
A lot of seafood, of course, because it's a port city.
¡Qué porción tan grande! A ver. Delicioso. Y comí. Y comí mucho. Que si me gustó. Uy, sí, me encantó.
Me encantó. I loved it.
Estuvo delicioso. No sabía que tenía tanta hambre.
Es el tango. Bailar el tango siempre despierta el apetito.
Yeah. Well, he says that dancing, of course, gets her appetite going. And, you know, she said, didn't know that I would be so hungry.
Si me permite la confianza, quisiera decirle que seguí sus consejos. El hermano de Ángel, Arturo, se ha hecho buen amigo mío. Yo también conseguí Para decir la verdad, siento un afecto muy especial por él.
So, you know, the old lady in Spain was sending her off saying, you know, all work, no play. And, you know, you got to change your life, girl. And so now she's kind of confessing, well, you know, this guy's kind of special. So
Esta es una noche
she took the old lady's advice.
inolvidable.
Sí.
Y tú también eres ya una persona inolvidable para mí.
Okay, lots of boo, 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 boo. Okay. Bien. But, es una sorpresa. I think we're going to run out of dialogue pretty soon.
No puedo tardarme mucho.
Sí, bien. Ya decidiste. Ya decidiste. Did you already decide? Ya decidiste. Did you already decide when you're going to go? Cuando te vas a ir? Did you decide when you're going to take off, when you'll depart?
Debería tomar el primer vuelo.
I should take, debería de tomar is like an obligation. You know, I ought to take the first flight.
Don Fernando está muy mal y no puedo tardarme mucho.
No puedo tardarme mucho, you know. Don Fernando is really, really ill and I cannot delay. Tardar is to take a long time, to delay, to take quite a while. No puedo tardarme mucho. I can't take a long time. Spend a long time.
Hace unos pocos días que te conozco y parece como si hiciera muchos años.
Oh, yeah. I've only known you a short time, but it seems like really long time. He's being really sweet.
Lo mismo.
Te voy a extrañar.
Te voy a extrañar. I'm going to miss you, he says.
Yo también a ti.
No comprendo por qué no funciona.
¿Estás seguro de que sabes operarla?
You sure you know how to work this camera? She asks. Yeah. You making fun of me?
Arturo, quizás necesita gasolina.
¿Pero qué tiene esta maldita? No entiendo.
Yeah, you can't get the timer to work.
¿Ves que no salís mal en las fotos?
Eso es gracias al fotógrafo.
Ángel, ¿es verdad que estás en Puerto Rico? ¿Por qué este presentimiento?
Yeah, he's asking, why do I have
¿Me
this
podés
bad
perdonar
feeling?
que nunca hice nada para buscarte?
Can you ever forgive, are you ever going to forgive me because I didn't do anything to go look for you? So he feels this guilt.
Primeras 100 estrellas que veo esta noche. Que podamos encontrar a Ángel en Puerto Rico. Que esté bien. Y que por fin esta familia pueda reunirse definitivamente.
And here are all her wishes that the family can be reunited. So, okay, that's pretty much all with that part. Bien. A ver, momentito, stop share, get my stop share button going there. Okay, está bien.
What does tal vez mean? That's a
Tal vez is the same thing as quizás. Maybe, perhaps, perhaps or maybe. One of those two. Bien? Okay. Fantástico, fantástico. Ok. Bien. ¿Tienen más preguntas o no? ¿No? Okay. I would like to send you off to chat rooms to talk a little bit. And I'm not going to make it anything hard with past. What I do want you to describe is what you are going to do this weekend. ¿Qué van a hacer? ¿Qué van a hacer? No se puede usar el pasado. No se puede usar pretérito, no se puede usar imperfecto. Tienen que hablar en el presente o en ir a infinitivo. Ir a infinitivo. So you can talk in plain old present tense to say that you're going to do something in near future, talking about the weekend that's coming up, or you can use ir plus a plus infinitive. Okay, por ejemplo, mi esposo y yo vamos a tener una llamada de Zoom con la familia, con mis suegros, con los padres de mi esposo, con mis sobrinos, con toda la familia, ¿bien? Y después voy a cocinar el pavo grande. I'm going to cook the big turkey, ¿bien? Y vamos a celebrar juntos, pero solamente con mi esposo, yo y los dos hijos, ¿bien? Okay, so ir a infinitive, what you're going to do, or what somebody else, if maybe you're going to do one thing, somebody else in your household is doing something else. Bien, vale, fácil, ¿no? Quizás 5 minutos, 5 minutes, 5 minutos. Bien, okay, vale. I'm going to send you off into small breakout rooms. Oops, to do that. Quizás dos. I think we only need 2 because there are only a couple of us here. Okay, you do need to hit your join button.
Yeah, we're talking about that.
Ok, aquí vienen. Bueno, ¿qué van a hacer? What are you guys going to do? ¿Qué van a hacer? And you'll have to take yourselves off of mute.
Oh. Tradiciones nuevos para muy gente. Mucho
Nuevas tradiciones.
Oh. Sí.
Nuevas. Bueno, entonces, dime una tradición nueva.
Yo voy a cocinar un pavo pequeño, no grande, y dos personas en la casa solamente, mi esposo y yo, pero no amigo, va a cocinar the green beans.
No vas a cocinar los habichuelos judías. You know, there are a lot of different words used for green beans depending on which country you're in. But it would not be frijoles. Green beans, judías or habichuelas or judías generally, depending on the country you're in. No vas a cocinar las habichuelas, ¿no?
No.
¿No te gustan? ¿No te gustan?
So, pero es no mi trabajo.
Okay. Ok. Entonces no son tus favoritos.
Sí. So,
no, o tus favoritas. Bien, ok, sí, algo más pequeño, ¿sí? Voy a cocinar menos también porque por lo general tengo por lo menos 3 o 4, a veces 6 amigos que cenan con nosotros, pero depende de, de quién está aquí, en Arizona, porque muchos amigos que cenan con nosotros el Día de Acción de Gracias vienen de otros países o otros estados. Y ahora nadie está. Ok, entonces, sí, solamente nuestra familia, nadie más. Ok, ¿quién más? ¿Quién tiene otras ideas?
So, Marilyn, I said, vamos a hablar con nuestros amigos en Zoom mañana. So if I wanted to say, we're going to talk with our friends by Zoom or something tomorrow, how close am I calling it en Zoom? Is it con Zoom or is it, what is it?
Se puede ser en Zoom or por Zoom. You could also use por.
Got it right. God. Oh.
En Zoom está bien. En Zoom es perfecto. Vamos a hablar en Zoom, vamos a hablar por Zoom. Los dos son correctos.
Oh, suerte.
Y sí, qué suerte, ¿no?
Qué suerte.
¡Qué suerte! Ok. ¿Hay otras cosas que van a hacer para divertirse, to have a good time? Además de comer. Todo el mundo va a comer, ¿no? Todo el mundo va a comer. Yo tengo una botella especial, una botella de vino muy especial que voy a abrir y voy a beber la entera botella yo misma. ¿Ok? Mis hijos no toman vino. Mi esposo no toma quizás un vasito de vino, pero generalmente no bebe. Nunca. No le gusta el alcohol. A mí me gusta mucho el alcohol. Entonces, tengo casi toda la botella solamente para mí.
Sí.
Me siento muy egoísta. I feel very selfish. Ok. ¿Qué van a hacer? ¿Van a hacer algo divertido? Anybody going to do something fun? ¿O afuera? ¿En el desierto? ¿En las montañas? ¿O no? ¿No? Porque hace buen tiempo, ¿verdad?
No tengo planes.
No tienes planes. Sí, claro. Vamos a montar en bicicleta este fin de semana. Quizás cerca de Browns Ranch. ¿Se llama Browns Ranch? Quizás cerca de ella. Porque necesitamos otro lugar, ¿sí? Para montar en bicicleta. Y pues va a ser muy buen tiempo. It's going to be very good weather. ¿Sí?
Oh, weather, right.
Sí, va a ser. We would never say va a ser buen tiempo. Va a ser, it's going to make good weather. Va a ser, H-A-C-E-R, H-A-C-E-R. Va a ser buen tiempo. Porque las temperaturas finalmente bajan un poquito, o bajan bastante, ¿no? Estamos a 60 grados aquí ahorita, pero quizás en 40 por la noche. 40 por la noche, más o menos, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Ok. Pero nadie va a caminar en el desierto ni en las montañas, ni nada.
Sí, sí.
¿No? Sí, un poquito.
Sí. Yo quiero andar mucho. Yo quiero andar cada día.
Un poco cada día. 5 millas, 2 millas.
5 millas is the goal. I don't know how to say that.
Es mi meta. Es mi
meta cada día.
Es buena meta. Generalmente tengo una caminata o doy una caminata de 6 o 7 millas. Cuando voy con mi esposo, vamos 8 millas, quizás 7 o 8. Él quiere, hoy va a caminar 10 millas en el parque, 10 millas, en la oscuridad, con una luz, una linternita, a little headlamp, una linternita, tiene una linternita con elástico que está aquí, sí, y cuando se oscurece, when it gets, dark, sí, entonces él pone la luz siempre. Y le gusta caminar en la oscuridad. Yo no me gusta.
Sí, serpentinas de cascabelas.
Sí, ahora, ¿crees que sí? Hace frío, hace frío, ¿no?
Demasiado frío.
Van a hibernar, they're going to hibernate, van a hibernar un poquito dentro de poco, creo. Pero no me gusta dar una caminata en la oscuridad por la noche, porque es difícil ver el sendero, the trail. Es difícil ver el sendero y pues no me da miedo exactamente, pero no me encanta tampoco. I don't really love it either. Durante el día tenemos todo el día con temperaturas fantásticas y podemos caminar durante el día. Pues eso es todo. ¿Algo más o no? ¿No? No voy a darles ninguna tarea excepto el siguiente episodio de Destinos. The only thing I'm really going to give is the next episode, which will not be, I believe it is not a recap or, a clip show. I think it's going to go on to something new, algo nuevo. Nuevos eventos, algo nuevo. That is the only thing I'm going to give because so many people could not come for class. So I will send the link for the next episode. It'll take you maybe 25 minutes. So you got a whole week for that.
And then do we go back and look at what we said in terms of present and imperfect for the pictures?
We're going to come back with the pictures next week and take a look at a couple of those and give some possibilities and
by the way,
some examples.
Your little conjugation crib sheet on that was very helpful. I don't know if we cheated by looking at that, but I needed to look at it, so I don't know.
That's okay as a cheat sheet. That's okay. It takes a great deal of practice to get used to it. So I think when you're recounting a story or commenting on what you see, it's okay to have a little crib sheet like that for a piece of homework. I don't consider that really cheating. Okay. Bien. So if you didn't have time to look at those little pictures, do take a look and come up with just a couple of ideas, something for imperfecto, what was going on, and maybe, an event that happens in the middle of that will be pretérito. So, if you can just even come up with 2 sentences, that's great. If you already did it, you're done. Nada. Okay? Bien? ¿Está bien?
Sí.
Magnífico. Ok. Son casi las 7 y... sí. Son las 7:30. It is now 7:30. So we'll end it for this because some people might very well have some extra things to do yet. Yo tengo solamente una tarea es hornear la pizza y nada más. Okay, perdón, Karen.
I just have a suggestion. If anybody likes a Spanish costume drama, we're watching Capitana Triste, which is on Amazon Prime. And there's all kinds of stuff going on, and it's, swashbuckling sword fights and, all kinds of stuff, and the Prince of Wales and the Infanta, and all kinds of stuff is going on, and it's just fun. So
it's a period
and of course
piece.
it has subtitles.
I have not had time to look that up yet. I am going to look that up. Y gracias, thank you. I looked up a little bit of information about it, and basically I think it's set in the 1600s.
Yeah, that sounds right.
1600s.
Yeah.
This would have been the time.
The Inquisition is going on.
Inquisition would have been a thing. Also, a lot of a big naval battle. I would imagine if they haven't done it, they will. There will be a big naval battle.
But this is after some big battle in Flanders.
Well, possibly battles a lot of places. Flanders, where is Flanders? Flanders, right? Near Belgium, Holland, all that area. Okay.
Yeah.
Lots of fighting there, lots of fighting like around Istanbul area. Why would they be doing that? Because at that time, the King of Spain was also the Holy Roman Emperor. And well, it wouldn't be Carlos V because it would be it's probably a little bit after Carlos V, Charles V, but his descendants. So Carlos V, who would have been the grandchild of Ferdinand and Isabella, he eventually was both King of Spain and Holy Roman Emperor, which means he had all this land in what is now the Germanies and Central Europe and Spain. And also he owned Holland, the Low Countries, as they called them. So the Netherlands was part of his empire. And there were a lot of wars at that time because the Dutch did not particularly want to be ruled by the Holy Roman Emperor. And there were also a lot of fights in the area of Turkey because they were also fighting with the Ottoman Empire way off Far East. So that was part of Carlos V's, part of his big problems is that he had too many wars going on, too far flung, in areas that were just way out there. So, to go off and fight in the Netherlands was a really long logistical battle for him to fight. Planning for supplies and getting your troops there. It was a lengthy trip. It was not an easy war to fight. Likewise, fighting the Ottoman Empire way off in the east. So, he's fighting on two fronts, which is not a great idea. And his descendants would be. Eventually that splits off. Carlos V, Charles V, really would have, well, actually he was in power around the time of Henry VIII. And he took over because his father was the son of a very powerful Holy Roman Emperor. But Carlos V is the grandson who takes over very, very early in life because basically you had Ferdinand and Isabella, one of their daughters married the Holy Roman Emperor and they had Carlos V, okay? But their daughter did not directly inherit from them. Oh, she did, but dad locked her away. Oh, poor dear, she lost her mind. There's a lot, yes. Carlos V's mother was called Juana la Loca, literally Crazy Jane. She did indeed have mental illness issues. Okay, so the basic story, it's a good soapy story. Ferdinand and Isabella have quite a few children, but many die in childhood, as of course happened in those days. So they were reduced to a number of children. One daughter went off to marry Henry VIII. No son to inherit. Well, they had a son, but the son died. The other daughter was Juana la Loca. Juana la Loca inherited Castile from her mother, and she married the Holy Roman Emperor. But now her husband, the emperor, died very, very young. Like I want to say late 20s or early 30s. He died very young. He was a very good looking fellow. He liked the ladies. He fooled around with pretty much everything he could catch. His wife knew it. Juana la Loca, it is said that she kind of went off the deep end because there was intense jealousy. She did have this wonderful male heir, Carlos V, Carlos. She had a male heir, so she did produce a male heir, which is wonderful for the empire and for Spain. But when her husband died young, she would not allow the body to be buried for many days. Like, I actually think it stretched out to a couple of weeks. She did kind of lose it. So yes, there were some mental issues, but beyond that, we're not really sure how crazy she really was, because her father didn't really like that Juana inherited the throne of Castile when Isabella kicked the bucket. When Isabel, cuando ella se murió, when Isabella died, she literally gave Castile to her daughter Juana. But see, Fernando was still alive, and Fernando was nothing but a very foxy sort of guy. He was clever, and he really did not like the idea of Juana ruling large parts of Spain. You know, he had to share Spain with Isabel, and he was not in a position to object to that. She had the stronger kingdom militarily. So when his wife died, he's like, you know, poor Juana, I think I'm going to take care of this for you so that you need not worry. You need not do this regent thing. You'll be a regent while you're locked up, and I'll handle things until Carlos is old enough. Fernando really, really liked the power, and the story is sort of changing too. They kind of really think that his daughter was conveniently locked away, although she did have, you know, some mental issues. She would have been capable. He did not wish to give up his power. You know, he was probably okay with it once. Well, by the time he kicks the bucket, the grandkid's old enough to become a very young ruler. So, you know, when he goes, he knows he's got a male heir. That was good enough for him. But Juana was like, out of here. Lock her up, throw away the key, pretty much literally. So it's sad. So it's Juana la Loca, but we really don't think now in modern days that she really was that crazy. Struggled a bit, but you know. Victim of a power grab.
Yep.
So, oh well. Anyway, it's in those days. And so there is a great deal of swashbuckling and high season buccaneering and pirates and all that other good stuff. So it is a fun, I'm sure it's probably a pretty fun episode. I am going to try to catch a couple episodes maybe this weekend. Okay. So anyway, that's about it for today. Eso es todo.
All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Feliz Día de Acción de Gracias.
Feliz
Acción de Gracias.